No time like Landstown, let's go.
Into the future.
Hey there, Eagles. Welcome to our first episode of Landstown Listens, the podcast by students for students.
That's right. Whether you're chilling in the cafeteria, tackling homework, or just trying to survive the hallway traffic, we've got your back.
We're your go-to source for everything happening in the halls of Landstown High. From the latest buzz in the classroom to the biggest events on campus, we've got the inside scoop.
But here's the twist. We're not your typical host. Nope. We're just regular students like you, navigating the highs and lows of high school life. So, if you're ready for some real talk, genuine laughs, and a whole lot of Eagle spirit, you're in the right place.
What's good, Landstown? My name is Gus Cologne, and I'm here with...
Joe Senzik, Mr. Senzik, Coach Senzik.
I got a few questions
Senzik.
out there. I got a few questions out there that students at Landstown really were dying to know.
Okay. I'm ready.
First of all, what do you teach, and how long have you been teaching for?
I know a lot of kids are dying to know this. I'm a World History 2 teacher, and I teach 10th grade, and I've been teaching for really like a year and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Landstown?
I love Landstown. I went to Landstown Elementary, Landstown Middle, and Landstown High School. I would do anything to work here for the rest of my life. I love Landstown. The family, the events. I cherish every moment I'm here. And, I love Landstown High School.
Yeah, everyone really loves you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
So how do you make class interesting and to keep your students engaged?
I'd probably say I just act like me. I see a lot of teachers who have to put on this face where they have to be the big boss and they have to act cool or they have to do this. Look, I'll come into class dancing. I'll leave class dancing. I'll sing whatever song I've listened to all day. I just be me. That's it. That's all I can do.
For sure, yeah. So we all know there's two of you out there, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about working with your dad?
My dad has been a role model to me since I was 5 years old. Everybody asks, you're definitely your dad's favorite kid. No. He always says it's the one you're with, and I was with him the most. So I love him, man. He's the best. When I see him in the hallway, I'm always laughing. We'll like play fight or whatever because he's my best friend, man. I love him.
So there is some changes on the Eagle Block. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
Let's add more kids into my class. I know it's probably a safety concern, but right now I'm sitting with about 32 kids in there, and I have probably like 17 kids who need to get in there for a test. So I love Eagle Block, though. An hour to spend with my kids, make sure their lives are better, making sure they're living good. That's all that matters to me.
That's great.
Yeah.
And the real question is, how much can you bench?
Okay, I bench 435 pounds on a good day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
With straps?
No straps. I don't wear a belt. I don't have straps. I don't chalk. I just lay down and bench press.
Straight raw.
Yep, that's it.
So, one last thing.
Okay.
What is your final message for students at Landstown?
Final message. Favorite Bob Marley quote at the moment. It is better to build a bridge than build a wall. What that means for all my kids that don't understand some quotes. End of the day, make friends, don't build walls and make enemies because you never know when you're going to need somebody. And it's better to have 70 people that you can lean on than 70 walls where people don't even want to negotiate or even talk to you. So,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for coming out,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Senzik, and for talking to us.
Of course. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Manya Nan, Nia for short, and I'm here today with Miss Daniel. She teaches across grade levels and is known by most students across Landstown High. My first question for you is, what do you teach?
I teach BioFit, which is a combination class of biology and health and PE 9 integrated, and I also teach AP Environmental Science.
How many students do you have across all three of those classes? That must be a lot.
It's a little bit. In BioFit, since it's a combo class, I have 45 students for 3 hours.
Oh.
But in my AP Environmental, I'm sitting at 24, which is a really manageable number for an AP class.
Oh, yeah, all right. That's not terrible. How have your student experiences been? How is it with your BioFit students and your AP Environmental students?
Well, the classes are really different. I'll start with BioFit. BioFit, we are in our 7th year. As I mentioned, it's a co-curricular class. There are 2 of us. I'm the bio, clearly not the fit. And Miss White, my co-teacher, is the PE teacher. Like I mentioned, we're together for 3 hours, both first and second block. We try to find those natural connections between our curricula. So for example, in health, we might be looking at nutrition and caloric intake. And in biology, we're looking at macromolecules like carbohydrates and proteins and lipids. And there's a beautiful intersection of those two that we create a project where students get a client and they have to create an exercise plan and a nutrition plan. With 45 students, the experience is in there for the 3 hours. It's very hard to articulate sometimes, but it feels like a family. People kind of often ask me, what is BioFit? It's more than I can explain in terms of just the 2 curricula coming together. It's a tight-knit little family feeling. When you spend that much time every day together, we have fun, I think we do. And although they're all 9th graders, there's a lot of them, and so they kind of have high expectations for each other. And then I flip the script and go completely to upperclassmen and teach juniors and seniors in AP Environmental. And that's a whole different mindset. It's a whole different, obviously, curriculum, but I enjoy doing both. I've taught just one prep where you're doing the same thing 3 times over and over again, and you talk about getting boring, and you sometimes go, did I tell you that? You don't know if you said that to your first block, second block. So teaching the 2 different classes and the 2 different grade levels is really, it keeps things fun.
So you mentioned that you only have 9th graders in your BioFit class. Is it only open to 9th graders, or can people of any grade level apply and get into that class?
Great question. It is only 9th graders. There are 2 requirements, and that's it. Number 1, you have to be in biology. And number 2, you have to be in health and PE 9. So there's where the 9th grader part comes in. So, unfortunately, if you're taking biology as a 10th grader, you can't be in because you had health and PE 9 as a 9th grader. So it's the 2 curricula that have to come together.
How does AP Environmental go with other classes? Like, how does it compare in terms of how difficult it is to teach with BioFit?
Well, the first part of your question was what other classes might it go with? It has a nice parallel with AP Human Geography. It's neat when I'm teaching my population unit, when I'm teaching my agriculture unit, my urbanization. A lot of my kids are like, oh, the demographic transition. I remember that. Of course, most of those kids took that in 9th grade. And like I said, they're either juniors or more likely seniors by the time I get them. But it rings a bell. So that's a nice kind of connection between those 2 classes so the kids can see that. As far as AP, of course, it's much more rigorous, right? Because my hands are tied by College Board, and I have an obligation to make sure my kids are prepared for that AP exam. So, we're going to stick to our curriculum, what's called the CED for that. So it's a little bit different. Of course, with biology or BioFit, we have an SOL. So in both classes, I have this nagging in the back of my head, like I have a job to do, and that's to prepare them for this end of course test, be it an SOL or an AP exam.
Yeah. Do you have any final messages for the student audience or the teacher audience?
My final message is take advantage of everything at school. I know it's so cliche to say be present, be responsible, be respectful, our 3 Bs, but you only get this opportunity once to be in high school. And, you'll get to be old like me, and you'll look back and hope that you made the best out of these 4 years. So get involved and stay engaged and enjoy every minute of it.
That's beautiful. All right, that's all I have for you today. My name is Manya. I was with Miss Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm here once again, this time with Dr. Washington, the assistant principal. My first question is, what is your favorite annual event at Landstown and why?
First off, I want to shout out to Eagle Nation. What's going on? It's Dr. Washington. I like to make people laugh. They laughing. That's good. And what's your question again? I forgot.
What is your favorite annual event at Landstown and why?
My favorite annual event is the pep rally because everybody's happy. There are games. There are cheerleaders. There's singing and screaming, and it's a good time.
All right. What do you think about Eagle Block?
Well, I think that once we iron out all the kinks and people get used to the routine and what we're doing, it'll probably be something the rest of the district wonder how we did it so well. They'll be like, man, I don't know how y'all made that work. So I'm thinking good things. I do like the choice that kids have. All seriousness, all jokes aside, I like giving kids a choice. Where you want to go, just sign up and be there. I love that. And making sure they have time in the day to eat, but you have an option. If you don't want to eat, you want to hang out with your friends in a space, just sign up for that space and be there. I love the opportunity for kids to be social and have choice.
Do you think that other schools might adopt our version and another version of Eagle Block?
Yes and no. There are some schools who like to be highly accountable for the whereabouts of their students. The ones that really need to know where their kids are for safety reasons and they emphasize safety, they're going to want to move to our model because we're getting there. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. It's getting better every time we do another iteration of it. The schools who like kids to kind of roam free will not adopt our model because, we have a lot of oversight and accountability in our process. So it's a yes and no depending on the school answer.
What is your favorite thing about the Landstown community?
Tastes like strawberries. I don't know what that means. I'm just trying to make you laugh, man. Best thing about the Landstown community, it's full of good people. Like every school's going to have kids who get in trouble, but I submit to you that the trouble, in air quotes right here, you can't see me, the trouble that our kids get into oftentimes isn't anywhere near, on the side of the spectrum of most schools. Landstown's a great school. It's got great parents. I get along with every parent I meet. It's got great kids. So I just feel like it's kind of a blessing. It's kind of utopia for me as far as schools go. It's just a great place. And there's no town like Landstown.
Speaking of all of the students and the teachers, what are your thoughts about helping manage one of the most populated schools in Virginia Beach?
Well, school is school. So school is about processes. You put processes in place that make sense, and then school just kind of works. So it's not really about the number of people. It's about, do you have a good process and a system in place so that learning can occur and people can feel supported? It's just like a car. It doesn't matter how much the car costs. If it runs, it runs.
That's right. Do you have any final messages to the students?
Yeah. So learn from the mistakes of the adults. And so what I find myself doing, I wish I could just make a recording of everything I say throughout the day and just kind of play it for kids who need that advice. I hear kids say things like, you know what, I'm not going to listen to that person because I don't feel like they've accomplished the goals I've accomplished, so why should I listen to them? Those are the people you listen to. People who haven't accomplished it, they know why. So everybody is worthy of your respect and attention. The ones that you feel have made it, listen to them because they might have cheat codes. The ones that haven't made it, listen to them because they know the barriers and the pitfalls that kept them from doing it. So listen to the people who've been through life. Believe it or not, life is cyclical. What's that mean? You're pretty much going through the same thing that the person before you went through. So if you think about second grade and you go to second grade right now, look at second graders, even though you're like in 10th, 11th grade, they're probably doing the same stuff you were doing in second grade. Life is a cycle. So when the parents say, I've seen that before, they really mean it. The only thing that changes is music and fashion. Everything else, people are pretty much the same. So listen to the adults, use them as your cheat codes. They're your crystal ball into your future, and learn from the ones that didn't succeed, but learn from the ones that did succeed. Use your resources, and those resources are people. And, love, peace, hair grease. Let's go.
All right. That was Dr. Washington. Thank you for meeting with me.
Hey, thanks for having me here, man. No town like Landstown. Let's go.
That's our show. For more information on Landstown Listens or public speaking, you can reach out to Miss Emily Rogers. Thank you for listening, and talk to you soon.